Since he was 8 years old, he does this to his mom and leaves everyone speechless. Vlad Kudryashov is the young 8-year-old schoolboy who managed the village household on his own. He didn't just manage to keep the house like an adult man, but also most importantly took care of his paralyzed mother. 15 years ago, this story spread all over the media. 8-year-old Vladik from Dobryanka, an ordinary schoolboy, independently runs a household in the house and takes care of a semi-paralyzed mother. People around the world were amazed. Some admired him and some were surprised. How is this possible? The fate of this family is very difficult. The boy's father was drinking, his mother did not tolerate it and left him. With a small child, she settled in a small village house and they had nowhere else to live. It was difficult, there was not enough money, but there was enough for 2 people to eat. When Vlad was 8 years old, trouble happened in their family. His mother had a stroke and then she was paralyzed. His father was not alive at the time, and a very young schoolboy was left with this misery alone. His nearest prospect is an orphanage, but Vlad wasn't the kind of boy who resigns to his fate. He wouldn't leave his mother. Like a real man, he would do anything to get her back on her feet. Vlad was lucky a neighbor took custody of him. She settled all the issues with social services, but then the boy needed to cope on his own. When Vlad turned 16, the media found out about him and his mother. This story did not leave almost anyone indifferent. Even the officials took it upon themselves to help the boy. After all, just think, he himself took care of his mother, cooked, washed, cleaned. There were also moments when it was very difficult. His mother's condition worsened and she stopped talking, but the boy did not give up. Every evening, he sat down with a book next to his mother and taught her to speak and pronounce words again. Unfortunately, Vlad could not fully cure Tatiana. Her treatment required a lot of money, which he didn't have. But he didn't give up. He did everything possible, everything so he could just make it easier for his mother. And his efforts were rewarded. His mother started talking again. Yes, not as well as before, but still it was progress. But the most interesting thing is that Vlad did not drop out of school. Moreover, he went to sports sections and made great progress. His coach always praised him. He was the best of his students. And on the personal front, Vlad was doing well. He and Nastya have been together since high school. They fell in love with each other and became a couple. Thus, he was no longer alone with his misfortune. Nastya helped him with caring for his sick mother. Now that he's 24, he's a welder and works in his hometown. The family moved from an old wooden house to an apartment given to them by local authorities. They still support the Kudryashov family. Vlad is still working tirelessly on a bright future for his family. A kind, brave, and hardworking guy is sure that everything will be fine with his mother. And his story will forever remain in the hearts of the people, terrifying and exciting at the same time. It is worth mentioning that the family neighbor played a big part in this matter. The woman dealt with all the issues regarding social services. However, the boy had to take the rest of the responsibilities on his own. Vlad's story only got covered by the media when he was already 16 years old. Despite his responsibilities, he finds time to study, but most importantly fed, bathed, and changed his paralyzed mother. The young man is already 24 years old as he learned to be a welder in order to find work in his hometown. The family moved from the old house into an apartment donated by the officials, provided with both financial and emotional support from his girlfriend and her family. Vlad managed to provide his mother with a standard wheel as she began to move around on her own. The mother is very proud of her son and grateful to him for everything he did. The family moved from an old wooden house to an apartment given to them by local authorities, and he's still working tirelessly on a bright future for his family. See what happened to this boy. An 8-year-old boy has a new lease on life after a Milwaukee nurse stepped in to donate a part of her liver in a life-saving transplant. Braden Outen returned to his family's Wisconsin home in July after recovering from a partial liver transplant thanks to a selfless ICU nurse, Cami Loritz, WBAY reported. Now, Braden is set to head back to school, months after his family wondered whether he'd live or die. What she did was completely selfless and she saved his life, plain and simple, James Otten, Braden's father, told WBAY of Loritz. Braden's mom, Ruth Otten, added, "We can't thank her enough. She's a true miracle. We consider her one of us, one of our family." It all began in April when Braden returned from school sick, according to WBAY. His family took him to the hospital where doctors found an aggressive virus attacking his liver. His health began to decline rapidly, the family said. "It was the Sunday after we got there. They finally looked at us. They're like, 'We're bypassing everything. He's going on the list tonight,'" James said. Ruth added, "Started talking liver transplant and we just bawled our eyes out. We didn't think it was going to get that far." After weeks of recovery, Braden is now home, and he and Loritz even showed off their surgery scars in a photo shoot. The photo showed Loritz and Braden wearing matching shirts and cuddling close with wide smiles. What do you think about this woman's impressive gesture?